Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Fatback 4 Daily. I am Gav, as always, your host, and this show is brought to you by Paddy Power, a bookies, a website, and an app. If you would like to gamble, please gamble responsibly and try to do so with Paddy Power. Odds on Liverpool, odds on football, odds on all other sports. You know how it works by now, but please gamble responsibly. Tonight we are going to talk a little bit about this Nike deal that looks like it will go ahead after a court ruling this morning in favour of Liverpool Football Club over New Balance. We're going to have a little chat about how Southampton should be wheeling their manager out of the stadium right now and telling them not to come back. We're going to have a little talk about Liverpool's ladies playing their first game that will be at Anfield. We're going to have a little chat about that and also touch a little bit on the sports stuff as well. Tonight with me is Chris Brack. Chris, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, thanks, mate. How are you?
I'm good. So basically the stuff on, like, not read it straight in. What's your view on Nike? Centurion says hello, Centurion. How are you? Adam Petruccioni. I'm gonna go with that pronunciation. That Leicester team have, dare I say, character. Brendan Rodgers is now the best manager in the world. But we'll get to that in a minute. But this Nike deal, as Not Red mentioned, what's our views on it? So during the week, I was doing a show, Chris, and I think it was Wednesday night. And it was basically when the court finished, and there was a lot of quotes coming out from the court, and it looked like the judge was edging towards favouring New Balance in this argument, because the main argument put forward was that they'd matched Nike's base offer, and could sporting influencers, as you would call them, LeBron James and the likes, could they actually be brought into the equation where they actually do mean something in this court case? Could it be a factor? Now, I know Phil from the Day Trippers had a good look at this, and he said, look, in black and white, if it's a straight decision, it's going to go for New Balance, because the figure there is 29 million and they've matched it. If it's black and white, that's how it is. The judge today favoured Liverpool in the proceedings and in the verdict on it, which clears the way for Nike to become Liverpool's kit sponsors from the 2020-2021 season onwards. Chris, first thing I thought when I seen this was a big win for Liverpool in the courts today. Does this put Liverpool up yet another level in, global terms and the trajectory that they're going on?
I think it does, because in terms of probably sports suppliers, the two big boys are Nike and Adidas.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably the run below then is the likes of New Balance and a few other brands. So it does help, and obviously the sort of things they can influence in terms of global stars and things like that is always going to be able to help us. And to be honest, you can buy Nike stuff anywhere, whereas New Balance, you can't. You have heard it's quite difficult to get some of the stuff you need of them.
Yeah, it's just. It's for me. It's a huge decision. Sorry, Dixon87 says he's 32 today. He's having a few beers. A shout out, absolutely happy birthday to you, my man. And to know you're having a few beers, listen, that's my style as well. So fair play to you. Shaq says good evening. North Red wishes happy birthday to Dixon. LFC Dave's LFC chat says hi Reds, just do it. You know where he's going with that one. Centurion, I'm in a good spot to shed light on this. Here in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, there are a handful of New Balance shops compared to the booming Nike distribution. Do you know what, Centurion? That was a big thing as well, because apparently the word used in this court case a lot was doors, and basically it's the amount of outlets you can get your product into. New Balance claimed they could do a certain amount, Nike claimed they could do a certain amount, but I think it all came down to just... I don't think it became black and white, because I think Phil had a point when he said black and white, it's New Balance. If he decides that sporting influences like, I think it's LeBron James, Serena Williams, or others like that, the Air Jordan brand, stuff like that, if they can actually put a proper number on them and it to be a factor, it would go with Nike. It didn't look like that on Wednesday, but it has turned out that way. It's like Centurion says there, Nike is just off the scale. It's like, I'll put it this way in a really simple term, right? I drop my daughter to school every morning, and I'd say there's about 250 kids in the school, around that, okay? And when I go in the morning, I've just noticed, because of this Nike stuff this week, just watching the footwear on kids, and I would say 80% of them are walking around in Nike trainers, Nike runners. It's phenomenal. And when something's in your mind, it's amazing how much you notice it. You know, the kind of way where, you know, like if you're thinking, I don't know, you're thinking about dinner, loads of ads for food comes up. You know, the kind of way, Chris. It's just one of those where it focuses your mind, and the amount of Nike stuff out there is just unreal when you actually go and look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I see that when I take my daughter to football training. And obviously there's loads of other matches going on while she's training. And when you watch all the other kids playing, you know, probably 80% of the kids are normally in Nike or Adidas football boots, and half the kits are made by Nike or Adidas. So they're the sort of brands you want. I think the idea of Nike probably won as well is, which won't be popular because people don't like to talk about football as brands because it's a football club. But I suppose the aim is they probably want the Liver Bird to be like a bit like the New York Yankees baseball cap. Everyone has a New York Yankees baseball cap, but don't actually follow the team. It's just a symbol. So you probably in America, they want something like that where everyone wears a baseball cap because LeBron James has it, which has a live bird. They have no concept it's to do with a Liverpool Football Club. Yeah, from our view, that's the money.
Well, I think that's part of the idea behind it. You know, like they are offering the base of 30 million, but it's like somebody explained it to me the other day. Like it's net sales and stuff like that. Let's put it this way: if Liverpool were to get £90 million a year out of this deal, Nike would probably have to make about 300 million net profit off Liverpool merchandise. I think that is so easy to do for Nike. I really genuinely do, because it's not only jerseys we're talking. It is shorts, it is socks, it is tracksuit tops, it's training tops, it's caps, it's any piece of merchandise with Nike on it and the Liverpool liveaboard, which they are going to absolutely massively ram down people's throats from the 1st of July next year or whenever the deal starts. And it's just every single thing on it, and they're going to come out with a massive. I can see it being around 90 million when all is said and done. Northred says Hendo was injured and doubtful for Spurs. We will get onto that later. Centurion, let me see. He does like the hipster choice for a third party manufacturer. Yeah, I know what he's saying. Maverick says clearly the judge had to look at the overall commercial package. Difference, not just the headline numbers. He had a choice there, Maverick, because he could have just went, no, hold on, you've offered 29, New Balance have offered 29, and I don't want projections, and I don't want big sports stars saying they will come in on this and make it absolutely massive. He could have actually went down that route. He decided against it. Dave's LFC chat says Nike has worldwide appeal. It absolutely does, and when you couple it with Liverpool's success at the moment, along with Nike's pull and Nike's ability to be everywhere in every corner of the globe as much as you possibly need to be, it's a proper deal.
Also a bit,
yeah, come on.
Also a bit of common sense would probably prevail as well, because if he does see it black and white, goes, well, they've offered 29, you've matched it. Surely a judge would have to look at Liverpool and go, why, when you're as successful as you have been the last 2 years, would you agree a deal less than what you're getting paid now? Because we get paid 40-odd million now by New Balance, so why would you agree a deal less? That's probably has to look at. Well, we have to look at projectors, because no business will go, hey, we're really popular now, so let's take less money.
Yeah, and they took a smaller base amount in order to make more at the other end. You know, that way. Now,
a calculated risk, isn't it?
It is it's probably not even a risk. It's probably something where Liverpool walked in and went, we'll take the 30 because we know we're going to make 90. And Nike went, well, listen, we don't have to give 50 up front plus 20%, which will cost us probably 110, 120. So everyone's kind of happy. It's a massive deal for Liverpool. Nike, in my opinion, I think Liverpool will end up being the biggest brand in football. If they continue with what they're doing. I genuinely believe that. I think that they're all over the world. Like somebody says they're in Saudi Arabia and Nike is everywhere. Liverpool go anywhere on this planet and they're selling out grounds. You know, they're going to Australia, they're selling out, is it the MCG over there? They're going to America and they're having 100,000 in the Rose Bowl, I think, against United the summer before last. Stuff like that. It's just huge. Centurion there says skill bags, accessories, watches, fitness equipment. It just keeps going. Dave's LFC chats us straight in with a prediction for Sunday. He says 2-0. We will get a few predictions later on.
The interesting one will be the footballers, because I think our two best players, arguably Alisson and Van Dijk, both Nike footballers.
Yeah.
The interesting one would be Adidas have got Salah and Firmino, I'd be interested. Could New Balance keep hold of Manny? Because that's who does his boots at the moment.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, you're right.
So you wonder now, our famous front three. There's only Manny who's not got one of the two big boys supplying his boots.
Yeah, so, that's a fair one as well. Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to try and go. Let's try and get Manny as well, because then there's also another way of making it a face of the brand is, three of Liverpool's top 5 players are Nike.
Yeah, and let's be honest, I'm sure people are going to come up with Mbappe, Sancho, Kai Havertz and stuff like that. And I did have there's a guy on Twitter. He was tweeting the main account earlier. He's from Australia. I know his second name is Foley, and he was saying is this are we starting this Mbappe stuff already? And I seen their main account reply to him and say, we're only playing, but next summer will be. I think the tweet went something along the line of it'd be mayhem or something like that. Next summer will be mayhem in the transfer market, and the rumour mill when it comes to Liverpool as soon as the season ends, if not before that, because Nike landed on our doorstep with all this money, and Nike wanting, and I do believe Nike will want some sort of, big star to go with this deal, to absolutely nail this deal. So it might be something there. Let me see. Maverick says it will be interesting to see if they hit low, medium, high projection targets in the first year and just how much that actually is. Do you know what? I think you'll probably see the marketing start now. And they've every right to start it now and start putting out stuff there and showing what's coming and stuff like that, and a massive, massive build up to it. And I think a marquee signing may be part of that. Darren says UK and Asia market is huge, especially China. Nike already set foot in China's market. It's absolutely unreal. China is a huge untapped market, says Dave's LFC chats. Go on, Chris.
I'm pretty certain probably for our next pre-season tour must be the Far East, because we haven't done that for a little while. I know Klopp's not a big fan of it, but surely that's going to be the next thing they're going to make him do.
Well, they might make him do it, but Klopp is well known as well for deciding what he's doing in pre-season, and Liverpool go along with that. I think a couple of people have raised slight concerns that with Knight coming in, will he have too much of a say? I think it was Kev O'Sullivan was saying on Twitter the other day, once Klopp is the man that continues to make the decisions, everything will be fine. I think that's a huge point. I think if a sponsor's coming in and going, well, we're really giving you 90 million a year, we want this, that and the other, I'm sure it'll be trashed out in the deal. And I'm sure any deal that goes ahead with Liverpool, although it will be the job of, the lads really high up in the club, I'm sure Klopp, his name is not Klopp, Klopp would have, I'd say he'd have a fair insight and a fair input into what's going into that as well, because at the end of the day, you can sign as many deals as you want, but the manager at the moment is the most important thing there right now, and what he wants is paramount to what we're doing. Northred says, do we think we're going to design a unique Nike LFC kit or a normal Nike football style kit with the live aboard, if you understand me? Yeah, I do understand you, because
they're all very similar, aren't they? In like the same, they all look very similar, the Nike ones.
The same template.
Yeah, but maybe it might be slightly different, because you could possibly argue in terms of football clubs, there's probably Barcelona who's on the same level as Liverpool at this moment. So they may be able to get a little bit more, something slightly bespoke. Yeah,
but do you know something? I think, just looking at it like from completely layman terms, if Nike had any sense, they would not go through the standard template, lash a live aboard on it and go, there you go. They should really put a lot of thought into it. And if they had any sense, they'd be looking at what New Balance have done over the last 3 or 4 years. They've come out with some really, really, really good Liverpool kits. And if Nike were to go, I'm not talking go back to something from the 1920s and try to simplify it that much, but if they were to pick something like the one we have at the moment, with that kind of pinstripe in it, is reminiscent of Liverpool going back, I think, around 84, in around there. So if Liverpool were to even to go back further, and I'm thinking maybe even a little bit further back, with the red with the white collar on it, or something along them lines, simplify it, plain red, really plain red, and
Shankly 60s one, like the round.
Yeah, something along them lines, and they'd really, hit the ground running, and it gets you a long way. If you can hit the ground running, it can get you an absolute long way. If they make a kit like the City away horror show, they should be castrated. Yeah, that's the one that looks like the It looks like an ice lolly, as people call them.
They might go to more than the PSG route because PSG dominate France. They try to do something a bit clever with their kits with a lot of the Air Jordan stuff just to make it a bit different.
Yeah.
So they may try something like that with Liverpool. I don't know if they'll do Air Jordan, but something just a bit, because PSG's night kits do look different to everybody else's.
Yeah, well, I think maybe the fact that he had Air Jordan on it, maybe something to do with that. Nordred says, totally agree, go retro. Dave's LFC chats got to go Reds. See you soon, Gav. Yeah, Dave, we will see you soon. Absolutely will. Stephen Kingsbury says Hitachi 79 kit. That's what I'm talking. Go back there, and do something that's really plain. Not really plain where it looks. You can go too plain where it looks just way too simple. But I'm talking, don't go with any mad design. If they were to stick to a nice plain red liverboard on it, they could do something like a fleck on it, like the late 80s. They could do something like that, and people would go, "Oh, that's cracking." And then they build up, credit in the bank nearly with Liverpool fans. But make no mistake about it, whatever night drop come next June will absolutely fly. It absolutely will. But look, I think most people are quite happy with the decision today. We have to wait and see what happens with Nike. I personally think it takes us to another level financially. Like Andy from the Trippers was saying there today, like it's a massive decision for Liverpool Football Club, and I agree with him. I just think we've struggled behind the likes of United and even Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal at times for money we are earning off kit deals. This one puts us up above them all now, and it puts us at a stature where we should be for the football we're playing and the success we're starting to have. Chris Pross says the candy red, yeah, something like that. They could go back to something like that. They could go back to something like 95, 96 with the big collar on it. That was a really nice one. They could do anything like that. Once you don't do the Ecru one from 96, 97, I'm not too bothered. But look, the next topic is, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go to this one because it's something close to Chris's heart. Liverpool ladies' first ever game to be played at Anfield will be played soon. Chris, tell me all about it.
Yeah, so Sunday the 17th, they're playing Everton in the first ever league game at Anfield.
Okay.
So it's pretty exciting. My only slight bugbear is I wish it happened sooner, and we're kind of piggying back a little bit on other clubs doing it first. I always think it'd be quite nice to do the first, but I think the derby is probably the perfect one to do it because you get both sides in, so you should get a decent crowd. I mean, price wise, it's ridiculous. It's a £5 for adults, and if you're an adult and you pay a £5, that can include up to 3 children for free. Absolutely, so it's dirt cheap.
Yeah.
The only thing is, though, if they're not doing pay on the door, you have to pre-book your tickets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so you just go on the website and it's a £5. So it's really good. Good way of raising the game. Help people see a bit of football. Who can't pay or can't get to Anfield for the men's games.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely a great idea. Like, yeah, obviously Anfield is available around that time. We're obviously probably away that weekend. I haven't looked up the fixtures.
I think it's international
weekend. Well, there you go, international break. Yeah, of course, because we play this. Yeah, I know what you're saying. November 4th, I think. Yeah, we have City and then international break, so that'd be right. But it is like you make a great point. People don't get to Anfield, can't get tickets into Anfield to go there. Maybe get into the stadium tour the day before, or and have a good look around the place and get in and see women's football. It's still Liverpool Everton, regardless of what level it's at. Liverpool versus Everton are under 18, 23's level. It's hyped up a lot. Liverpool ladies against Everton ladies will be no different. So it is. Hopefully it works, and you'd like to see, for the sake of it happening again, and hopefully it will happen again, you'd like to see a good crowd go there, a decent atmosphere, 2 teams trying to play decent football, and Liverpool, Everton, people get into Anfield. It's a no-brainer, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty easy, and the good thing is it'll probably, like any other women's game, which is great for young fans, is once the game's over, you can all just queue at the front, and every player will come down for pictures, autographs, so. For my daughter, it's great. It's her idols who say hello to her every game. She thinks it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So that's another. It's a good way of growing the game. If you want to get more girls into football, unfortunately for the men's team aren't as accessible just because of crowd size and things. So it's a good perk of the women's game is the players are very accessible.
Yeah, absolutely, and
They're really good ambassadors.
like for the players themselves, they play their home games at Prenton Park and Tranmere.
Yep.
You know, they've had an indifferent start to the season. I keep up with it basically through you, Chris. To be honest with you, you update me most weeks, but you know, for them, it has to be a big thing for them to play at Anfield. You know, it really has to be a big thing for them to play at Anfield. And then, like you said, young girls that are watching it, and even young lads that are watching it, and they're going, "Look at that! This is amazing! Look at them playing at Anfield. I'd love to do that." It can't be it can't be a bad thing, and hopefully it does get a turnout, and you know, people enjoy it and make the effort to go to Prenton Park when it's on there the following week or the week after that. B, it gets more girls and young lads into football. C, it's at Anfield, and hopefully with a good turnout, it means that it will be looked at again. A lot of people are mentioning Leicester 9, Southampton 0. I am going to get to that in a couple of minutes. I'll get to it more or less now, but Grizz says, evening lads. Grizz, how are you, my man? Maverick says, blimey, Leicester score 9 against Southampton, unreal. Centurion is having a breakdown. Vardy scored a hat-trick and he didn't have him as his captain. But look, that win for Leicester tonight, we'll touch on it for a minute, why not? It's a 9-0 victory. It equals, I think, Manchester United's 9-0 win against Ipswich around 94, 95, I think. I think of visions of Andy Cole probably scoring 4 or 5 that day. That's a ridiculous scoreline, isn't it?
It is. I mean, there's two mad stats that have come out from it since then. Is Leicester have scored 9 tonight. Man U have scored 10 all season in the league.
Yeah.
And the other one, which I didn't know, is the goalie for Southampton, Angus Gunn. He now holds a record with his dad, Brian Gunn, as being the first father and son combo to both concede 7 or more goals in the Premier League.
Jesus Christ, that's unbelievable.
That's a fun Christmas chat, isn't it?
But the thing is, like, it's mad. Like, I think they're 1-0 down after 10 minutes, and did they lose Bertrand to a reg? I haven't seen the game, so I haven't seen any of it.
It's a bad stat. He's one of those ones where someone overruns the ball and they stretch to go and get it. But as he's stretched, he just goes over the ball and gets the guy just below the knee. So it's a straight red. It's not malicious, but
dangerous.
You have to go. Yeah, you have. It's one of those ones where. But interestingly, it was because all the crowd were like, "What's going on?" Because a VAR review, and VAR actually flipped it on the big screen in Southampton, and you could hear like a gasp in the crowd when they saw the tackle, and I think all the crowd went, "Right, fair enough."
Yeah. Yeah, when I'm arguing this.
Yeah, it's one of those which obviously you can't do it at Anfield, but that's probably something with VAR that would help. Is if you see it on a big screen that the instant you go, right, fair enough, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I know there are still some that are ridiculous and we don't agree with, but things like that, if you see it on the screen, you go, well, I've seen it, So I can't really dispute it, but the manager will get a lot of stick for it, and rightly so. You shouldn't lose 9-0. I mean, I wanted Rodgers sacked when we got beat by Stoke 6-1. That was bad enough. But some of the players are going to have a look at themselves.
Well, something?
Bit of personal pride.
Absolutely. And I know they're down at the 78 odd minutes, probably over 80 minutes when you include injury time and stuff like that with 10 men. But there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse to concede 9 goals in a game. None. Unless you're 4 players sent off in the first 10 minutes. You know what I mean? There's no, he should be sacked immediately. And I don't, people are going on, I've listened to different things on Southampton, and he's good turn up in form last season, and he's made a couple of signs. They're still bedding in and stuff. 9-0, you should be thrown out the door. It's as simple as that. Centurion says, but Bertrand's tackle was a clear red card, regardless of intent. Yeah, I think Chris has covered that very, very, very well. Kevin O'Sullivan says, by the way, great use of VAR for Bertrand Red. Can Chris, you've seen this. Can you just give me the rundown of what actually happened?
Oh, right, yeah. So Bertrand overruns the ball,
mm-hmm.
and he goes through and catches the guy,
mm-hmm.
and lets the guy goes down. But the ref plays advantage.
Right.
From the advantage, they get a shot off. Keeper palms it out. Probably should put it out for a corner,
mm-hmm.
and it falls to Chilwell, who scores. So it's 1-0 Leicester.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ref's put his fingers to his ears. He's thinking, he's checking for offside,
mm-hmm.
the routine, and it flashes up. Checking red card, and I was like, "What red card's this?"
Mm-hmm.
And they show the tackle. And so you see the replay of the tackle, you go, "Oh, that is a bad tackle." And he brings Bertrand because Bertrand looks shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Partly because I think he's like, "What you sent me off for? You've got the goal." So he says red card, but then you even see Bertrand look at the screen, and I think he sees it on the screen and almost like has that resigned look of, yeah, I'm not getting away with that. And he walks off. So it was quite good. He could have stopped the play.
Yeah.
Or the other option is the ref didn't quite see how bad the tackle was, and someone's had a word in his ear. Basically, like we should have done with Atkinson last week, saying you've missed something there. That's a red.
Yeah.
So that was probably where you would go. That's what VAR is for, which is you let the play go on, they score the goal, and then you have a word in his ear going, by the way, that tackle's horrendous. You need to send him off.
Yeah. So Kev O'Sullivan says the ref pointed to the tackle after giving advantage, right? I agree that's a very good use of VAR. And for the simple reason is he gives advantage. I don't know what decision he's going to go back and give, okay? But he must have said something as he's making his way down the pitch. You know, he must have said, on giving advantage, that could be a red card. He may have done that. What would be interesting to see is if he didn't give advantage and, for argument's sake, gave a yellow, would have been overturned. And the reason I'm asking that question, Chris, is because I can see these refs' decisions being overturned because they can argue very, very simply that I seen it as a yellow. Do you know what I mean?
The best thing they can do, I don't think they'll ever do it. Possibly because there's a bit of arrogance in English football. Is probably do like the rugby where you can hear them talking.
Oh, listen.
Which I've heard you talk about.
I'm on that train. If you're starting that, I will be, vice chairman of whatever organisation you're setting up. Rugby union is the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean the other thing, I'm not sure you can do it with that, especially not with our ground because you can't hear anything when the announcer talks to us. But in American football, I don't know the massive rules about, but I do know there is a way where the American football ref is connected to the tannoy system.
Oh yeah. Every major decision.
He just presses the button and goes, foul number 3.
Yeah. What happens in American football is that if there's a couple of referees obviously around the pitch, if there's a flag thrown on and there's something wrong, they consult over it. He comes along, presses a button, he's on the tannoy system, interfering with quarterback, number 66 defence, 10-yard penalty, and he explains it all, and there's no argument, there's no nothing, and it just goes on. But rugby for me is the way to go, and I think that
would solve both problems. If you could hear it on the telly, where you can just hear the ref going, right, I'm giving the goal. Is anything wrong with that tackle? That tackle looks fine to me. And all you need is the guy in the ear to go, yeah, you're fine, or you might want to look at that. Oh, hang on, I'll go look at it. That's all you need to do. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, that's fine. And then the tannoy to go, goal disallowed, offside number 3, and everyone go. And whether you like it or not, you go, well, that's what they've given, that's what they've seen, and there's no confusion then.
Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is? Like, I agree with Kev O'Sullivan that it's a good use of VAR the way he's done that. I don't know, and I don't think anyone knows whether he's spoken to VAR and said, I'm giving advantage, but I want that tackle looked at. It could be a red. I don't know whether VAR have come on to him and said, I know you gave advantage there, but you need to go back and give a red card. But it would possibly annoy me a little bit more about United's goal at the weekend after hearing what you've just told me about this game tonight, because that play goes on for United. Okay, goes in the box, they score, and they go, yeah, but hold on. 1, did the referee say anything? Or 2, did the VAR could have come back and went, that's a foul back there, by the way. You need It still feels like every scenario is taken on its. It's not taken on its own merits. That's the wrong way to word it. But it's taken in a way that, we'll deal with it this way this time, and we'll deal with it this way the next time.
Yeah.
You know that kind of way.
I mean, we saw that in the Genk game. Their goal was disallowed because when we saw the replay, and the TV people were saying was probably you and me looking at it going, "What's nothing wrong with that? It's a good header." Yeah, he's just been higher than Milner. You found out it's an offside 3 minutes earlier, but there's no communication. It wasn't even for the telly. Any communication that I'm looking at an offside. That's where it's really inconsistent because sometimes it's very clear what they're looking at, and sometimes you just stood around for 2 minutes going, "That's where." Because I was quite pro VAR, but the way it's implemented is crap.
I think it's a brilliant idea. I think the concept is brilliant. I think it's needed in the game simply because the amount of money riding on football now is just outrageous. I think it could be quite entertaining and add to the spectators' experience if done properly. Like, it adds to a spectator's experience at rugby. Like, I know people that watch rugby. I know people that go and watch, Pro 14 rugby, Leinster stuff, and I know I know people that go and watch Ireland rugby, and they'll come back and go, oh yeah, when there's a decision in the ground, you're kind of watching it on the screen and you're making your own decision, but you know what they're talking about, the kind of way. And you can actually get an app. Yeah. You can get an app at the rugby where you can actually listen through your phone to the referee while he's on the pitch talking when these situations come up. So it's one of those as well. But look,
they do the same with cricket, don't they?
Yeah, well there you go. Like
what I like with cricket is when it sounds like it's like a routine now. The way of talking, I'm going to check this. No, check this. Yeah. I mean, just hearing what's the latest catchphrase now is if they never do it, it's green, green, green. 3 greens, go for him. He's out. But everyone's used to that phrase now.
Yeah.
But again, you could have the earpiece, listen to it. You can hear the third umpire going, I've checked this shit. No, he's hit that.
Yeah.
Sorry, you have to reverse it. And they just apologise. Sorry, mate, you've missed that. Reverse it. And there's no arrogance with the umpires to go, okay, I've missed it. So be it.
Like Kev O'Sullivan says there, on Monday Night Football, Cara proved that the ref in our game couldn't see the foul on Origi, and for me that's worse. Yeah, it absolutely is, because now it's a clear and obvious mistake. If he has proved that he couldn't see it, surely the VAR say, did you see that back there? Yeah, I see that, and I didn't think it was a foul, fine. But if he couldn't see it, then it's a clear and obvious mistake because he can't see it. You know what I mean? Nordred says the ref should be put in front of the cameras to explain themselves. I slightly different on that. I think if they were more open, and I think if it came down to being mic'd up, or even, if they were mic'd up, to be able to come out after the game and go, will you listen to the conversation? That's what we thought. And it's much easier to come out and talk when people have a little bit of understanding as to what's going on. My argument with VAR is just total confusion. And, the argument that, people celebrate and then don't, and, that's a decent argument. But, like, a mate of mine that listens to this show, he downloads every morning while he's in work, Jimmy. Jimmy was telling me that he was at Old Trafford on Sunday. He said when Mane scored, we celebrated, and then VAR, no goal. And then when Lallana scored, we were celebrating and then kind of stopped and waited. It's just taking all the adrenaline out of your body, that kind of way. But for me, the concept is great. I just think the way it's being done is wrong, and they've probably dropped it on the Premier League too quick. That's, I think, another year of trialling it, and not trialling the technology, trialling the way and the process. And the transparency of it all, I think, could have been done a lot more. But I think we're in agreement, Chris, that Ralph Hasenhüttl should be no longer Southampton manager. Have we agreed?
Yeah, I'll be amazed if he survives.
Yeah, I would be as well. 9-0 is just no way to go. Listen, we don't.
Do you reckon it'll be 15 against City next week then?
It could be, couldn't it? But then
they've got City twice next week, haven't they?
Yeah, League and League Cup. Yeah, it could be one of those. Then again, they could come out fighting and probably only get done 4 or 5. But look, we leave Southampton, we leave the VAR conversation, because when I get involved in VAR conversations, they can go on for a long time and bore people. But the last thing, we done a very, very, very good preview of the Spurs game last night with Ben Haynes from 90minute.com.
It's good, that.
Yeah, and Grizz as well. If you want another look at that, you can go back. It's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's on YouTube, it's on Periscope, it's on all your podcast apps, as all our shows are. There's also a preview from the Cop Table with myself, Jay Riley, and Mickey Hazard, which is really good as well. Both Spurs fans that were on both shows, really, really honest about Spurs, so it was really good to have. But look, as I'm talking to you tonight, and I'll talk to someone else tomorrow night, I have to talk about the Spurs game, and what I always ask guests what they think, because the more opinions the better. I keep saying this. The more opinions I have, whether it's on Periscope, YouTube, or anything else, I welcome them all the time. So looking forward to the Spurs game on Sunday, Chris. What do you think regarding the lineup, and what do you think regarding a score prediction?
I think lineup wise, the way Klopp was talking about Matip, I don't think Matip's going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you look back in hindsight, his knee was heavily strapped up for that United game.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly, whatever rest he thought it needed, it didn't have enough. So I think you'll definitely see a change in the back four, and I think you'll see one change in the midfield. I don't think it'll be popular, but I think it'll be Lovren that comes from Matip.
So do I.
Part of the reason I heard a stat on Anfield Rap saying he's played 5 of the last 7 games against Spurs, so obviously Klopp fancies him against Spurs. And 2, I just don't think he fancies Gomez at the moment. I think, to be fair, I still think Gomez has played very well the last 3 or 4 times we played him centre-back. he's a good player. I'm sure he'll come back from it. But at the moment, he's probably not in the right form. And if I was Spurs and Gomez was playing, I'd be telling Kane to lean on him.
Yeah, I think it's a fair point with regards to Joe Gomez. I still think he will come through to be ahead of Lovren in the pecking order and possibly ahead of Matip. I do agree. I do think he will become that. But at the moment, I think he's just caught between a rock and a hard place. He just looks like he's out of sync of what we're trying to do. And that's understandable with the injuries he's had. He's been out of form. That's allowed. He's 22 or 23 years of age. That's absolutely allowed, you know.
To be fair to him, though, I had that opinion for a long time about Matip. I was never a big Matip fan. I always thought he got bullied. I didn't think when he came in he looked particularly impressive. But then because of injuries, he got a run of 5 or 6 games and he went, actually, he's really good, you know. So it's like Gomez. He probably needs a run of 4 or 5 games, but in the current situation of this league where every point's crucial, it's picking your moments when you can give him a run where it's deemed less of a risk to have a player slightly out of form. And probably this run, probably not the time.
Yeah, this will be 5 minutes left. If anyone has any random questions from yourself and Chris, now is the time to throw them in. Northred says, statement time from Liverpool, no messing around, put these to the sword. We are so much better than we are playing. Maverick says, get your good luck kippers in for breakfast on Sunday. I will most certainly not be doing that. Centurion says, we would be ludicrous to even consider anything beside a win. The faith and belief in this team deserves nothing less. A few people have asked about Oxlade. What do you think the change in midfield will be? Pick me in midfield 3, because I'm only asking that because I think most people will go with Henderson, Wijnaldum, Fabinho, but there's talk that Henderson maybe you do.
Normally, I would say that's the midfield. The Champions League final team is the team that we play in the big games because it works perfectly when we have all the front 3 playing. I'm like you. I like Henderson. Big fan. I think he accommodates the attacking traits of Trent and Salah. Basically, he lets them not cheat, but get up more, and he covers them. Unfortunately, for Henderson, I think he's woefully out of form. I think probably has him for 2-3 games. I think he needs to take it out the firing line. I also think he's knackered because I think he plays nearly every minute for us, and he plays nearly every minute for England. So I think there is an element of I think he just needs to take it out for 2-3 games just to get his head right, and throw him back in against Villa. So the debate in my head is Keita or Chamberlain. And I can't quite decide because Chamberlain scored the goals, brilliant goals, but I would argue his all-round play against Genk probably wasn't the best, and Klopp's Progs match pretty much said that. But you'd sort of think Spurs are a bit flaky at the moment, so maybe someone just run straight at them is what they need. But I'm leaning towards Keita because I actually thought, although he didn't get the goals, I thought his all-round game was better, and his pressing, and is possibly what we need. So I'm a bit either-or with them two. Fabinho and Gini, I think, are the other two.
Okay.
But I'm a bit either-or with them at the moment. I can't quite decide which one I'd pick.
For me, it'd be Fabinho, Wijnaldum and Milner.
Okay.
The reason being, I think the easiest way to replace Henderson and what he does, and I keep going back to it, what he does in protecting Trent Alexander-Arnold and allowing Mo Salah to be literally up the pitch all game, I think the easiest one to put in there would be Milner. Although we did play a full game during the week, I think it may be Milner. If I was to, it's a tough pick, but I think Oxlade-Chamberlain would play before Keita because it's Henderson now and on that side of the pitch. I think Keita has been looked at as that kind of inside lefty centre midfieldy sort of thing,
I would feel more comfortable that if they do pick Chamberlain, I would play Chamberlain on the left and play Gini on the right.
Okay.
Only because I think Gini's more disciplined, so he would help with the Trent-Salah balance. Whereas on the left-hand side, because he's asked to do that, but also it's sort of more natural to his game, Manny is a natural workhorse backwards and forwards with Robertson. So I think that would then protect some of
that's a fair point.
Chamberlain's attacking prowess. So you then sort of saying to Chamberlain, play a natural game, just play on the left.
Yeah, no, that's an absolutely fair point.
So that might be, and the front 3, I'm assuming, is the front 3. I was surprised Salah started against Genk, but in hindsight, it probably didn't the world of good because he looked really rusty for the first hour. But I think having that game's probably got that rustiness out of his system. So he should be sharper against Spurs, which I think he needs to be.
Yeah, you absolutely will be. Let me see. Somebody asked there, pick one Liverpool player to try sell a women's beauty product. It's Bobby Firmino. Have you any advance on Bobby Firmino?
Chamberlain.
Chamberlain, good show. Okay, I just think Bobby Firmino. Those
They're the only
teeth.
two I can think. They're the only two I can think of.
Yeah, no, but I think Bobby Firmino will just sell anything with that smile and even that look as he comes up the tunnel at Burnley. He could sell anything.
Oh, that's a funny.
Centurion asks, mayo or ketchup?
Ooh, probably just ketchup.
You see, I'm mayo all day. Absolutely.
It depends what it's with, but I mean, the other option is you just do both.
Yeah, you mix them together. It's amazing.
That's the best answer, really. Is do both.
Avo the Third asks, Christmas cake or Christmas pudding? What are you choosing after Christmas dinner? Christmas cake? What's Christmas cake?
Fruit cake.
No, not having it. Christmas pudding? No, not having it either.
No, they're both crap. You go for a Yule log. Can't go wrong with that.
No, I don't really eat desserts, but the last one I had
Neither
was Terry's
chocolate. But chocolate's always a winner.
Terry's chocolate orange cheesecake, I think, was the last one I had after Christmas dinner, which was amazing.
That's brilliant.
North Red goes for trifle. Chris Pross says Wales or South Africa. I think this is rugby, isn't it? Oh, Wales win
it. Don't care really, to be honest.
Is it England, New Zealand in the other semi?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to see. I think New Zealand will beat England, so I'd like to see Wales win it and have a Northern Hemisphere team in the final. Kev O'Sullivan says burger sauce. Yeah, good show. Absolutely good show. Let me see. Maverick says Christmas cake. With regards to Christmas cake, I think Christmas pudding wins all the time with custard. No, I don't eat any of them. Really don't. Give me a score prediction, Chris. Give me a score prediction. I'm not letting you away without giving me one.
Okay, I'm going to go for a tight 2-0.
I am exactly the same.
And I'll go Salah first goal and Origi off the bench.
Okay. I usually go something like 3-1 because I always feel Liverpool can let in a goal because of just the way we're playing this season. I think somebody said to me the other day, is their only clean sheet this season? Was it Sheffield United away?
I think.
It was something like that. It was mad. When they told me it was mad, like I was like, Jesus.
I feel like we've had 2, but I'm trying to think what the other game is. I'm sure we've had 2.
North Red has 3-0. I think it's 2-0. I don't think Salah scores.
You know, but he does against the Spurs. That's the reason I said Salah.
I'm gonna go with Firmino for the first goal, and I'm going to go with Naby Keita to get the goal as well.
Ooh, that'll be a nice one.
Maverick has a 2-1 Liverpool win. As I said, North Red has a 3-0. I've seen somebody earlier saying 2-2, so that's I think it happened the season before last, but it's not allowed. It's absolutely and utterly against the rules. Before I go, just to let you know, from the 1st of November to the 30th of November, isn't that right? 30 days in November? I think I'm right.
Yep.
For the month of November, we are having a competition on this show for the entire month, and this is how it's going to work. All subscribers on YouTube at the moment will be in to win. All current subscribers will be in with a chance to win. All new subscribers from the 1st of November will also be in a chance to win a separate prize. They're both the same prize, just 2 of the same prize. But I'm going to give 1 to subscribers that are before the 1st of November, and any new subscribers in the month of November will get a prize as well. I'll announce the prize when it arrives, or they arrive. But there's a twist. If you know anyone that likes watching YouTube and likes Liverpool content, and you are a subscriber to this show, all you need to do is tell them to subscribe, first of all, and they're in with a chance. But if they come on a show and they comment to say that, let's for argument's sake say, Chris Brack recommended me to subscribe to this show, Chris Brack gets an extra entry into the competition. Do you understand? Is that making sense? Okay.
Sounds perfect, that.
So, if Chris Brack or Kev O'Sullivan or North Red or Maverick or Chris Pross, if he is on YouTube, any of these lads that are on this screen, if they go and get friends to subscribe and them friends come on mid-show and say, oh, A, B, or C told me to subscribe to the show, I mark that down and they get an extra entrant in. So if they get 20 subscribers to come along, they get 21 entrants into the competition. Their own for being a subscriber and 20 for recommending the show. That's how it's going to work. And look, it's 2 prizes at the end of the month. It's for nothing. And when they arrive, I'll let you know. I will give you more details as the month goes on, but that's how it's going to work. So try get your head around that. I will try write that down and make it a little bit clearer for people as we go. Kev O'Sullivan says get Mane in behind Aurier. It'll be interesting to see what way Spurs go. Do they play the players that you believe are best, or do you play the players that actually want to be playing for Spurs? That's the way I look at it. But look, it's been good. Chris, I've enjoyed it. It's been a good Friday night. Have you enjoyed it?
I've made it really good.
Good. Back on next week at some stage, yeah?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. I work the schedule out usually on a Sunday, so I'll give you a shout then. Loads of on-air administration, as they call it. That's been it. That's the Fatback 4 Daily. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all your comments. When people download this, listen to the competition, get yourself onto YouTube, get yourself subscribed. You subscribe, you hit the bell notification, you know when we're on live, and you get a chance to win. It's easy. Over and out.